So what happens if you click on my face? Oh, nothing. Nothing happens. But what if you click on my face now? Wait. This is weird. Somehow, just by adding this one circle, you and billions of other people immediately know that by clicking on my face, you're gonna see a series of photos and videos from the last 24 hours of my life, that they're gonna disappear, that the videos are gonna be no longer than 30 seconds, that on top here you have small rectangles that show your progress, that if you tap here, you go to the next one, if you tap here, you go to the previous one. You immediately got all of that in milliseconds just from seeing a picture of me with a circle around it. And that's because stories are what's called a design pattern. But so is this. And this one. And this one as well. Design patterns are the hidden way tech uses to change the behavior of billions of people.
Watch the pretty coin of gold.
And you know what? We're gonna do it as well. We'll learn the secrets hidden in plain sight of how technology changes your behavior. But I'm also gonna use the same secrets to actually redesign an entire piece of the internet and changing the behavior of billions of people by fixing the mess that is social media today with something new. But first we have to understand why without design patterns you wouldn't be able to use your tech at all. This video is sponsored by Notion. More about them later. So, say you're a young Silicon Valley tech bro. You put on your Patagonia vest and you're gonna build a new e-commerce app. You glance at your Steve Jobs shrine and you can already hear it.
Think different.
I'll do it, Steve. My app is gonna be different. So you start to design your revolutionary app. Instead of shopping categories, you had a 3D swiping system. So cool. But you also probably need a tutorial to explain people how to use it. Instead of traditional search, you had a new swipe to search feature. So immersive, but yeah, also you need to probably explain that as well. Instead of a traditional product page, you have a full screen video of the product, and to purchase it, you triple tap it. Wow, this is so engaging. But yeah, should probably add an explainer for that too. Your app is finally ready. Steve is gonna be so proud. You spent millions in ads, you launched the app, and no one uses it. How? Steve, I was thinking different. So you start to relent. Let's put a regular profile picture on the top right, because that's where people expect to find it. Let's add a grid instead of the 3D swiping, so we can remove that from the tutorial. Hey look, people are starting to use it and figure it out. Let's add a regular search bar where you expect to find it. Let's ditch the triple tap gesture for a normal add to cart button, so we don't need a tutorial anymore. And that's when you realize that you don't need to explain anything to anyone anymore, because you use all the typical design patterns of e-commerce. All of these. Your app is finally making money, but then you look back and you realize that you've built something that looks exactly the same as all the other e-commerce apps and websites out there. And this is the reason why eventually all social media apps look the same. This is the same reason why all websites look the same, why streaming services all look the same, why all music apps look the same. When Snapchat launched Stories, they created a new design pattern that worked, that people became familiar with. So Instagram just copied it.
Nice. What else is coming?
Along with every other app at the time. For a while, even YouTube had Stories for some reason. And so, congratulations, we just uncovered the third rule behind design patterns. Once a design pattern works, everyone adopts it. And we're gonna use this rule right now, because this rule gives us a unique opportunity. It allows us to single-handedly redesign the entire internet. The vertical scrolling feed is the ultimate example of how design pattern that got basically invented by TikTok took over every social app imaginable, and also Amazon for some reason. But I think we can all agree that it's kind of broken. It completely eliminates choice, it pushes for addiction and surface level content, and after a scrolling session you feel drained and overwhelmed at the same time. I already made a video about this, and judging from the views, it seems like we can all agree. Okay, here's the plan. First, I'm gonna recreate the design patterns we have today so we can play around. I took Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube and I recreated them from scratch in Figma. Icon by icon, pixel by pixel. Connect these things, and I also made them interactive so we can simulate how it works today. Now here's my idea to replace this with a new design pattern. I think we can all agree that OG YouTube, the long for one, is great. It has constant drama, for sure, but there's no other place where you can get such quality content, learn new skills, dive into topics, and I mean, it became the #1 video platform in the world for a reason. But there's a problem with good old YouTube, which is the paradox of choice. Because when you have a grid of high quality videos, high quality stuff like this, you have too many options, and choosing becomes the pain. It's the same thing that happens when you scroll through Netflix for 20 minutes just to choose what to watch. Now on the other end of the spectrum, there's the infinite scrolling feeds, where you don't have the paradox of choice because, well, you have no choice. You just keep scrolling. And we all know the problems that are there. Addiction, sensational content, and you cannot really dive into anything. So these are the design patterns we have today. But what if there's something in the middle? A way to have the exploration and discovery of random stuff that the feeds give you, but by still giving you choice and control and letting you dive into specific topics. And so here it is. When you scroll down from a short, you have a grid and you can choose the next video. Problem solved. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. No, that doesn't work. Shorts don't have a thumbnail and title, so you cannot really be able to decide anything from these. So you have an even worse paradox of choice. And you also remove all the discovery benefits of infinite scrolling. This is kind of trash. But there's two more golden rules of design pattern, and these are what we need to find our actual solution. But before we get to that, another product that used design patterns in a genius way is the sponsor of this video, Notion. See, Notion introduced a new design pattern that's at the core of its success. While Word and all the other traditional text editing tools had pages and simple walls of text, Notion removed the pages and added this concept of blocks. You can have a text block, a button block, databases, boards, embeds, charts, and this design pattern that Notion invented keeps it extremely flexible but also easy to use. I mean, have you ever tried to move an image in a document only for it to completely nuke everything else? And because of this, Notion has become my everything tool for organizing my life and work. It's where I write and manage all my videos with my videos board. I also have a view for my ideas. I do my journaling in Notion. It's where I organize my entire life. And they also send cookies. So this cookie is a very cool portrait. Every Notion employee, when they join, they get a portrait like this. I saw that and I really liked the idea. So last year, I actually did my own portrait that I use as my email picture, my logo, my website, and I even sticked it onto my car. But to make this, I had to spend several hours in Illustrator making it from scratch. But now Notion just launched Faces, an easy way for you to create your own custom illustration. Not only you can use it inside Notion, for example, as your profile icon, but really anywhere on the internet. This screams me creator vibes, and I'm all in for it. You can get started with Notion for free by following this link, and you can create and share your portrait at notion.so/notionfaces. This is good. But now let's get back to the video, because how do you actually create a design pattern that ends up changing the behavior of billions of people? This is Lauren Brichter. You probably don't know him, but you certainly use what he invented every single day. He's the guy that invented this, pull to refresh. He invented it in 2008 for his Twitter app Tweety, and once again, thanks to rule number 3, it basically took over every app imaginable. And pull to refresh is the perfect example of golden rule number 1 of design patterns, which is that they need to be intuitive and simple. If you drag down from a status bar with your phone, what happens? Well, you get notifications. They appear on top and they live there. So just drag down to see them. This was in the very first versions of Android, and eventually iOS also adopted it. When Steve Jobs unveiled the first iPhone, the reason it worked so well is because they invented so many of the design patterns that today we take for granted, like pinch to zoom. Even though the one I like the most is the wiggling icons when dragging around stuff. It's so cute. The dynamic island is Apple's latest attempt at creating a new design pattern. And while Android hasn't adopted it, OnePlus did. But as another Italian YouTuber said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And designing something simple and intuitive is not simple at all. So here's my idea. We're gonna start from the vertical scrolling feeds. It's super intuitive, and today the mighty algorithm decides what you're gonna watch. But now we're gonna add choice. We're gonna modify it to allow you to choose what you wanna watch. Today, this is the logic, the flow of things. You have this vertical scrolling list of videos, and you just swipe through the next or the previous one in a vertical way. But my idea is to transform that into this, more like a tree structure. And we can do it by changing the logic, so on every new video, you can choose between 3 different options that are underneath. 1 on the bottom and 2 on the side. So now the question is, how do we navigate through these 2 side videos? So I recorded myself swiping in different positions just to see how my thumb is interacting with the screen. And my first idea is to have these 3 areas on the bottom. And if you start the swipe from one of the 3 areas, you go left, bottom, or right. But after watching myself interacting with a phone and scrolling, I see that this is not a very natural motion. We tend to swipe from the middle of the screen, and also the furthest one from your thumb is quite hard to reach. So it's not really intuitive. But then I thought about how the videos in my idea are positioned in space. They are positioned diagonally compared to the screen that you're seeing. So we can actually use diagonal swipes to go left or right. So I went ahead and made a quick prototype, and I think it works quite well. But that got me to another problem, because how are people supposed to know that there's stuff on the sides now? We have to make clear that, hey, there is more and this is where they are positioned. And my solution for this is to briefly zoom out while you do the transition from one video to the next. So you can reveal that, hey, there's other stuff on the sides. You briefly see them, you barely see the side, but that tells you, hey, there's stuff here and you can actually reach it. This seems like a small thing, like this subtle hint, but it's actually super important. But we also need to do the same thing while you're watching a video. So I used this area right here, this area on the bottom, and I repurposed it to create these small cues, these icons to show that there's stuff on the sides. Since most short form videos are 16:9 in aspect ratio and most phones are in 18:9, the iPhone is actually 19.5:9, we have more vertical space to play around with. So this is not going to cover too much of the video. But now comes the tricky part, because we figured out how to give users a choice. But now comes the question, a choice of what? Well, this is where we get the most interesting part of design patterns, because now we're gonna decide what do we put here. And something so seemingly small, it's actually what's gonna change the behaviors of billions of people and redirect the flow of billions of dollars, just from this one decision. So think about the last email you sent. It probably looks like this. Meanwhile, a text to the same person looks like this. On one, we talk like respected aristocrats, on the other we behave like brain rot monkeys. And this is because of design patterns. The input text box on an email is multiple lines, driving you to write longer messages, multi-line messages, driving you to sign off at the end. And this over time gave birth to the bullshit formal email lingo that we have today. No, your email didn't find me well, Linda. Chat apps, on the other hand, have single-line inputs that drive our behavior to shorter messages and more narrative style. The design pattern of the text box influences the behavior of billions of people and how they communicate. So the way our design pattern will work is it's gonna change how billions of people interact with content, which videos end up being watched. The content itself is gonna change. Now, the first instinct for many would be, wow, we can now finally make social media less addicting, less brain rot, we can finally touch grass and stop scrolling. And well, this doesn't work. Because the last but also most controversial golden rule of design patterns is that they need to be good for the company that implements them. In e-commerce, they're good because they increase revenue. In operating system, they are good because they make the OS easier to use, so more people would choose it. And in social media, they make you spend more time on the platform because this is how social media works today. So whatever we do here, in order for any social media company to adopt our design, we need to make sure that it gives them a benefit. So when you're watching a 25-minute YouTube video, you feel like probably you learned something or there was something entertaining, it was a cool video. But when you scroll endlessly for 25 minutes, you probably don't remember much of what you saw. Because this is an amazing tool for discovery, but the problem is that there is no depth to it. You cannot go deeper into anything. But now, thanks to our new design pattern, we can introduce depth back into short-form content. And guess what? This is not only good for us, but also good for Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whoever, because people are just gonna spend more time on a platform. So here's what I have in mind. Most people are right-handed. Not the case for me, but for most people, it's gonna be easier to swipe in this direction. So this swipe is gonna always be associated with depth, diving deeper into a topic or a specific type of content. If you're in YouTube Shorts, this can bring you to the full video about a topic starting from a short. If you're on Instagram, they can start to allow longer type of vertical videos that can be accessed only through here, through diving deeper from a short form video. Same thing with TikTok. And now that you're here, since you want to make you focus on the long form content, you cannot swipe down to see more. You need to go back to the short and then you're again in the short form feed. So what if you don't have long form content associated to, say, a short? Well, swiping here can lead you to more shorts and more short form content about the same topic. But the important thing here is that the algorithm also changes, because it's going to push the content and the creators that are able to make people watch longer form videos, completely changing the creator economy as well. Because it's good for the platforms. People are going to spend more time, but they're also spending it in a better way, learning and diving deeper into topics. Now, the other side, we can use it for many different things. We can test out different things, but I think it would be cool to use it to suggest more varied type of content, where you swipe that way, you'll signal the algorithm to show you stuff that is much more outside of what you would usually watch. I want to discover something new here. I want to go far outside what I usually watch. So our new design pattern, if you think about it, is just moving some pixels around. There's nothing huge. But this is going to impact the lives of billions of people. It's going to change the behavior of billions of people, move billions of dollars. And this is the real power of design patterns. What you see, design patterns are just the start of the lies behind the tech you use every day. There's much more design, engineering, psychology behind everything that you interact with and use every single day with tech. And you can learn all about it in this video right here. I'm Enrico, and I'll see you in the next one.